Why, hello there. So I completely forgot that red eyeshadow. I'm kind of allergic to it, so I'm kind of like blinking all the time, squinting, so let's just ignore that, please, okay? You'd think I would have remembered that before I bought an expensive eyeshadow palette. So let's talk about something exciting. Right now, the Gallaudet Academic Bowl is happening around the country, and the very first school to host it was the North Carolina School for the Deaf, of the Deaf, something like that, in Huffington, which is a little bit of a drive, more than a drive that I'm used to, but not bad, it's doable. So I went. What actually happened was a teacher who works there emailed me 2 months ago and told me about the event. I had never heard of the Gallaudet Academic Bowl before, and I had never actually gone to the North Carolina school before. I've driven past it, I've seen the outside of it from a distance, but I've never actually stepped foot on the parking lot or stepped car into the parking lot or actually gone into the school. So this was the very first time that ever happened. So the teacher was telling me about the event, and I was like, okay, cool, I'll go. I was nervous about going by myself. I'm always nervous about going to these kinds of events by myself. Anything that's like 100% sign language, I am still nervous, going in there by myself. And I didn't know anybody there. But I did remember that someone who follows me on Tumblr works there. So I messaged her because she had actually messaged me on Tumblr saying, why not, contact the principal or whoever and then see if you can get a speaking gig there. That hasn't become a thing yet, but I did ask her if she was going to the event, and she said yes, so we decided to meet up, and I did not feel so petrified. So let's kind of wrap up what happened, shall we? I do have a written post on deafpointers.com, so you can go look at that. That was written last week, I think. Yes, that was last week. So I'll have a link to that down below, as well as my public speaking website, so hire me. So basically, if you don't know what this academic bowl is, it's basically 20 deaf schools in total got together. There were teams, and they pretty much just answer questions. You had categories like math, science, pop culture, social studies, literature, stuff like that. And there are 3 rounds, 12 questions, I want to say 10 to 12 questions each round. So if answering questions isn't really your thing, then you probably wouldn't enjoy it. But I went because, I don't know, that would be cool. You get more deaf experience and sign language practice that way. So I went. So actually one of the best things that happened was I actually saw my coworker there. His name is Jesse. We work together at DTV News. He is one of the anchors. I don't write for him, or sometimes I do. I have written for him in the past, but he is not my main anchor. That is actually Melissa. So I saw him, and we got into the room, and I look at this guy on stage, and I'm like, he looks like this guy that I work with. And I was like, Michaela, do you know him? She's like, no. And I'm like, I just want to go up to him and ask who he is. Are you Jesse? Are you the guy that I work with? But I didn't want to jump up there or be awkward, especially because he was working. He introduces himself and he says, my name is Jesse Jones, and I'm like, holy crap. And so I'm texting my boss and my anchor and Jules, and I'm like, is Jesse in North Carolina today for the academic bowl? And he goes, or they said something like, probably, that's probably him. He's been, he's done the academic bowl stuff in the past. And I'm going, it's him! So I'm taking pictures and I'm sending it. And I'm just like, why did none of you tell me that he was coming? Obviously he had to take time off. Why didn't none of you tell me he was coming? Come on. So anyway, I went up to him when the entire match was over because I didn't want to, interrupt. So I look at him, I'm like, hey coworker. And he looks at me a little bit and he's like, Rikki, you live here? And I'm like, yeah, I live about, 45 minutes out of the way. And I was like, we were like, what the heck? And, that was fun. And we took a picture together, and it was great. And then we saw each other, we walked past each other later on in the afternoon, and then we didn't see each other since. I wanted to, invite him out to dinner, but, oh well. Next time, come back. Or when I go to LA. Someone hire me, take me to LA. Alright? Yeah. That happened, and really there's not much else to say about the academic bowl, because really, you sit down and you watch the kids answer questions. I cannot remember who won that particular part. It's South Regional, and then there's a West Regional and stuff. It's still going on. I don't know where they are right now. I think there was one in Riverside. Yeah, there's one in Riverside happening this weekend, so I'm assuming they're in California right now. And then next month they're in Washington, D.C., I think. and Gallaudet will be hosting it. I'm not entirely sure. I will put the schedule somewhere. So even though I wasn't actually participating because I'm 25 years old, not 17 or 14 or, high school age, I was looking at the questions and I was like, okay, so it's this answer and this answer and this answer. I completely fudged up the math part except for one question. I got one math question right. In fact, I got it right and none of the other teams did, and I was very proud. I used to be very good at math, but now I suck. And then some other stuff, which HBO show won at this many awards, just other things. I was very proud of myself. The one thing that got on my nerves so bad, and I understand why they do this, because it's supposed to be like the most smart people participating, but if you even switched one letter, got it mixed up, if you spell something wrong, they would not give you the point. They would say that it was a totally wrong answer, and I was just like, why? I think one of the questions that got on my nerves the most was they would not take boathouse, they took houseboat instead of boathouse, I think. I'm just like, who calls it a houseboat? It's a boathouse. Or maybe I always used to call it houseboat and then I just completely forgot that by the time that happened because I was just so mad about the rules in general. They wouldn't take Pac-Man without the hyphen. Really? So that was pretty much it. It was just a day of sitting down, watching kids answer questions. You try to answer the questions to yourself, and then try to remember what you learned in high school, really. The really cool part was after that, a couple of hours later, I did leave early because Michaela had to go somewhere, and then I had to go somewhere. But I came back, I drove all the way back a couple of hours later because they were having a social event kind of thing, which I thought was going to be more like a get-together, like something VidCon-y, but without the rowdy young adults getting drunk. If you go to VidCon, you know what I'm talking about. If you've been a feature creator, you know what I'm talking about when I say that. But really, it felt more like a board meeting than anything. You got to socialize a little bit before it started, and then y'all sat down at this place that really looks like a presidential room. Like, if you've been watching the news lately, you see Trump sitting down, listening to all these sessions. That's that kind of room. And the president of Gallaudet was there to talk about all the new things that was happening at Gallaudet. I can't remember exactly what all was going on. It was kind of cool to watch. I mean, at the very least, it was cool to see the president of Gallaudet in person. I didn't get to see her. I didn't get to meet her because she ended her presentation, like, right when the event was over, and then we were being rushed out. They were like, no, we didn't pay for an extra 5 minutes. You need to go, like, now. I was like, this, if I can still see myself, like, this far away from her. That was the distance between us when I was walking out, but everybody else was still talking to her, and it was gonna take forever. We could have waited outside, but it was freezing temperature, so I was like, no, I'm going home. I'm tired. I'm gonna be awake for almost 24 hours now. I'm gonna go to bed. It was cool. Some people have asked me if I was gonna go to any of the other ones. If anybody wants to offer to pay for my flight and hotel, for sure. But, no. I don't think they're hosting it again in Morganton next year. I think they're going to Knoxville, which is the closest. That's about 5 or 6 hours away. So, that won't happen. That's a bit far. But it was cool to, practice the language, meet a couple of new people, make some new friends. That was cool. That's all I gotta say about that, really. I wanna know who wins, like, the number one place, first place of the entire thing. I don't know if North Carolina school is traveling around the country. I don't know how they're setting up the whole winning thing. So, that's it. If you want to follow me on all of my social media, links to that will be down below. If you want to help support my content via Patreon or Ko-fi, both links will be down below. I upload every Monday and Thursday unless otherwise stated, and I will see you later. Bye.